Good afternoon. I want to thank you for coming today to what truly is one of the greatest assets that we have here in Western New York, the Albright-Knox Art Gallery, to talk a little bit more about my 2014 Erie County budget proposal, the items that are in there that I proposed last month, and what I hope the legislature will do is they take up the consideration of the budget right now. Because as you may know, the budget process is the county executive's office through our budget office, and I'm pleased to be joined by our budget director, Bob Keating, hiding in the back there. Prepare the budget, and then it's submitted to the legislature for its review. And when we talk about budgets, I think too often we get caught up in the numbers, focusing on property tax rates, the costs going up or down, in some ways just dollars and cents on a spreadsheet, because there's much more to a community our size than the dollars and cents on a spreadsheet, but the common sense proposals that we come up with on behalf of the greater community. I think it's more important that we should be talking about what we want to accomplish as goals for our community than just the dollars and cents on a spreadsheet as part of a budget. How we make Erie County a better place for our families to live, work, and to grow and have a future. I believe that county government plays an integral role in helping grow our local economy and truthfully create jobs. We do this not necessarily by expanding government, but by making it a better place to live, a better place to work, and an easier place for businesses to succeed. Today, we announced two huge projects for this area. As you may have heard, we have, through the Riverbend site, announced that two companies, one Chinese, one Californian, will be coming to Erie County and creating 850 new jobs through clean, green, solar tech companies, and also through an investment of New York State. We'll be seeing a $150 million investment with regards to issues associated at the Ford plant. Those are over 1,000 jobs that were announced today that will be coming in the near future. That happens because government sets the tone for creating a vibrant environment. And that's what we've done, I believe, in Erie County government, and one of the things that we're here to do today. Last June, I released, as part of my economic agenda, a plan called Initiatives for a Smart Economy. This plan is comprised of 64 initiatives across 12 different sectors of the economy that we know are prime sectors of our economy. There's not one sector of our economy that's controlling, but many sectors of our economy. And what we came up with as our initiatives for a smart economy are initiatives and proposals that we believe can create a better future for tomorrow. Now, when the plan was released, I emphasized that these were achievable initiatives, ones that could happen in a short period of time that would not take a tremendous amount of assistance from others. And we've already achieved a number of those initiatives, but some of those are items that have been put in place as a result of my 2014 proposed budget. And I think it's imperative, if we're going to get these initiatives passed, that these items do pass as part of the budget proceedings. Although Erie County is taking the lead in these initiatives, some of these work in tandem with our partners in the government and in the private sector and the not-for-profit sector, and that's why I'm pleased to have so many representatives today from the private and not-for-profit sectors here to talk about that. And today you'll hear why these initiatives make sense. I'm not going to talk about these initiatives. I want to leave some of these up to the individuals that are here today to talk about why the proposals that I have in my 2014 budget make sense to create a better future for all of Western New York. And that's why I'm pleased to be joined by these individuals. The first one I'd like to introduce to talk a little bit about our initiatives with regards to growing our economy in Canada is Chris Johnston, the interim chair of the ECIDA and the president of the World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara. So, Chris.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. My name is Chris Johnston. I'm president of World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara. We're a membership-based organization that promotes international trade and commerce. I also serve as acting chair of the Erie County Industrial Development Agency. It's been quite a day from an economic development standpoint. The Erie County Industrial Development Agency has had a record year. We've done over $600 million worth of deals this year, resulting in over 2,000 jobs retained, and with a 2-year growth period of 200 jobs coming down the pipeline. And then the governor comes in today and trumps us all with the $1.3 million. So I don't know what to say. I guess we're not doing enough. But what a tremendous day. It seems like every day gets better and better in Buffalo, so in Erie County, so it's great. Over the last 2 years, though, as part of this economic development, we've seen a lot of companies from Canada looking to enter the U.S. market, gain leverage, gain market share, gain the Made in the USA logo, and they're choosing Erie County as their destination. Companies like Welded Tube, should I say, that's going to the Bethlehem site, Outfront Portable Solutions, as well as Gracious Living. And these are great success stories for our community. They create new jobs and new investments here. And it's no coincidence that this is happening, given the county executive's concern, his expertise, and his strategic vision in looking to Canada as a source of economic opportunity for our region. I, as much as anyone, including our organization, certainly understand the importance of international commerce and trade, and certainly our geographic location in Canada. And I applaud the county executive, Mr. Poloncarz, for really being the first elected official in our area to really come out and recognize the importance of Canada and to put dollars into a budget to really pursue some economic development initiatives targeted into the Canadian economy. The GTA area is a tremendous, it's the second largest financial capital in North America. It's significant. All we have to do is drive up there. Certainly the Albright-Knox sees many visitors from Canada. It's our airports, our ski resorts, our Bills games, our Sabres games. List goes on and on. It also represents economic opportunity. So we need to harness that opportunity more. And so the local economic development community as a whole is fully on board in supporting the county executive in terms of creating a greater presence and greater capacity in the Canadian marketplace. As we look other areas, and certainly New York State does not have a presence in Canada right now. Other cities greatly pursue opportunities in the GTA marketplace. They're pursuing companies, they're trying to attract capital. Toronto as a whole is one of the most international cities in the world, more languages spoken in Toronto than any other country around the world. And so we have to be there in order to meet our competition. And I'm very actually honored that the county executive has put $100,000 into the budget for a county office of economic development to take place in the Greater Toronto area in his 2014 budget. If you want to be a global actor and be on the global stage, you really have to step up to the plate and act like one. And the budget item here for the office in the GTA is taking its part, along with the greater community as a whole, to support this initiative, is taking us to the next level. So we've had tremendous wins today, tremendous wins this year, and with this effort, we're hoping to just continue on with our success, grow our presence, grow our companies, grow our jobs, grow our investments. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. As Chris said, it makes sense. We have the United States' #1 trading partner is Canada. Its economic hub is Toronto. It's 90 minutes away. They come to our Bills games, they come to our Sabres games, they shop in our malls, they drive down to Ellicottville and Kissing Bridge. We've never gone after their business. We have in the last few years, and we've had successes, and that's why I proposed this Greater Toronto office, so that we can have continued success going forward. So thank you, Chris, for your support. Next up, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the quality of life issues that we have in this community. One of the greatest assets that we also own as a community, and we hold in public trust, are our parks. And I want to turn this over now to Jack Bertsch from the Chestnut Ridge Conservancy to talk a little bit about what we've been doing at Chestnut Ridge Park and how we need to continue that investment in our park system. So Jack?
You can see I dressed for the occasion. I have my Boy Scout t-shirt on, my Boy Scout jacket, and my Chestnut Ridge Conservancy hat. Just a frickle of information about the Chestnut Ridge Park. It was formed in the early 30s. A lot of the work that you can see was done by the WPA, and in 1938, the casino, as we know it, was rebuilt after the original was caught on fire. The toboggan slides have been rebuilt, and guess what? There's only 2 locations in the country that have toboggan slides, and we have one of them. The other one, I believe, is in Oregon. The mission of the Chestnut Ridge Conservancy is to support the restoration, preservation, and enjoyment of Chestnut Ridge Park. I'm so happy to say that in the last Well, our organization was formed 4.5 years ago, and there's been a tremendous improvement in Chestnut Ridge Park since then. Like many of you, I've traveled pretty much the world, and I've seen every kind of park that you can think of, from little pocket parks to huge international parks. And I got a pretty good idea of what a park can be and what it should be. And until 4.5 years ago, Chestnut Ridge was not one of them. It was pretty much a mess. It had been neglected for decades. I don't know why. I assume it's because of budget issues, or perhaps just lack of caring. But in the last 2 years or a year and a half, especially since the present administration has been involved, there's been a tremendous amount of improvement. And just to tick off a few things, the roads were completely oiled and redone. The ugly white pillars that used to surround the entrance to the casino, to the park, have been replaced with nice clean barriers. The tennis courts have been rebuilt. The parking lot has been all rearranged and landscaped. The casino has been new sidewalks, new landscaping. On the inside, we've had a new heating system. There's a new roof. I can go on and on. The windows were replaced since, let's see, 1938. The old windows were replaced just a couple years ago. So there's been an awful lot of interest and a lot of commendation by folks that use the park of how much it has improved. And for that, we thank all of the county government for keeping it in their mind, and we hope to take advantage of all these good things that we just heard about. Let's keep a little bit of that money coming for Chestnut Ridge Park. And just as a short kudos for ECIDA, I also own Polymer Conversions in Orchard Park, and we started with 5 people. With the help of ECIDA, we now have over 100, of which our biggest customer is from Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. The ECIA is always ready, willing, and able to help you grow, so if you want to go to 200, we'll be glad to do that. In the last couple of years, we've been averaging $2.5 million a year in parks investments. We continue that through next year's budget. I hope that it is passed as it currently stands, because the parks still need work. We've done a lot, as Jack has noted, in Chestnut Ridge, and we're doing work not only there, but elsewhere, and the work, unfortunately, when it's been neglected for decades, needs to continue. So I appreciate your support, and I hope the public appreciates the work that we're doing, because, as I said, we hold these parks in a public trust for future generations. It's incumbent upon us not to let them neglect and go into decline, but to ensure that they're here for 40 to 50 years in the future. When I grew up, my parents took me to Chestnut Ridge and Emery Park. That was our country club. And I think we need to remember that it is the park for everyone. Next up, I'd like to introduce Dennis Elsenbeck, Regional Director from National Grid. I've had the pleasure to really get to know Dennis in the last couple of years. They're doing a tremendous amount of work as it pertains to the economic development of this community. Yesterday we were on Ohio Street announcing a project to better Ohio Street and the investment that National Grid is making there. They helped us at the Bethlehem Steel site. They seem to be helping us all over the place. As a reminder, the end users, in the end, they're going to get you because they're going to charge you for the energy you use. But Dennis is there front and center to ensure a brighter future for all of us. You get that, brighter future? And he's going to talk about one of the initiatives that we have going forward in the 2014 budget, an energy officer for Erie County. So Dennis?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so the county executive took away my pun, and and I always like the fact that we have to throw in a token engineer into the audience, so I just deeply appreciate that. You know, when I was asked to participate in this event, I do what most engineers do, research. So I went to the Initiatives for a Smart Economy And it was interesting because it jumps out at you because the key themes are there. The workforce development, smart growth, entrepreneurship, tourism, agriculture, amongst all the other major issues that are out there. But boy, did I get warm and fuzzy when I read energy. Why? Because it needs to be integrated in good sustainability planning. And the other thing that always impresses me about the county executive, because he talks about collaboration and partnership. These are not words, simple words to the county executive, and I just want to acknowledge him for that. Before the initiatives were actually put out there, I received a call from some of his staff, Bonnie Lawrence, Tom Hershey, which I'd like to recognize. I just was impressed. Why? Because they were trying to look at different ways to collaborate on how to characterize energy. What are those key initiatives that are out there? What's the type of planning process that are there for all of us? Now, when you look at it, and as it's pointed out in the county executive plan, energy encompasses many things. Renewable energy, energy conservation, sustainability, even employee awareness is covered within the framework of that plan. But guess what else is there and what's in the county executive's initiatives? Jobs and economic development, which was characterized this morning. So you're ahead of the game. I appreciate that. Now, National Grid applauds the county executive's focus on energy as it directly impacts sustainability, both in terms of the economy as well as the environment. Energy savings are real dollars and not only impact budgets today, but well into the future. Sound energy management needs commitment of both time and employee resource to ensure projects are prioritized and followed through. I understand that the county executive seeks both in his budget, and National Grid supports that. You need the focus in order to accomplish the results that the county executive is looking for on behalf of the county. Being able to meld energy management and renewable strategies with smart growth impacts both infrastructure investment, which minimizes impacts on the taxpayer and the ratepayer. They tend to be the same person, by the way. Good collaboration. National Grid, like other entities, have energy incentive programs to partner with the county, and we look forward to complementing the county executive's initiatives in this. Once the energy resource is added, National Grid will assign one of our energy engineers to that individual, to that resource, and we will continue to collaborate, cooperate, and seek a better county. And we look forward to the leadership and what the county executive is all about. We just simply appreciate being part of his team. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I said earlier, we can't do this on our own. We have to have our partners in the government, in the private sector, in the not-for-profit sector, and I'm very pleased to partner with National Grid in this effort. And I certainly, I stole his thunder, I guess, on the joke, and he stole my thunder because I want to commend some individuals from my Department of Environment and Planning who played a key role in the development of the energy and blue economy water section of the Initiatives for Smart Economy here, led by Commissioner Maria White, Deputy Commissioner Tom Hershey, and of course Bonnie Lawrence for all the work that you've done on behalf of us. Thank you. Now, when we talk about quality of life issues, we talk also about educating our youth, educating ourselves, and what we can do to create a better future for all. And truly, one of the greatest resources that we have is our Buffalo and Erie County Public Library system. In this upcoming budget, we proposed an increase in the library. We've heard a lot of discussion over the years about whether the library should be funded. Let me say to you today, they should be, because they are a great asset for both educational and other purposes. And to talk more about the library system, what it does, and I certainly have gotten to know Mary Jean Jakubowski over the last year and a half, very intimately, it seems like at times. But we are definitely working towards the same goal of having a strong library system. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mary Jean to talk a little bit more about the library.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here today, and Mark, I thank you so much for including the libraries. Libraries, as all of you know, and I don't think anybody would disagree, are critical to our communities, as evidenced by the more than 3 million patrons that have crossed our threshold, the 6 million items circulated, and the more than 658,000 computer sessions that have been logged thus far in this year. Libraries are economic incubators, educational centers, and cultural institutions. They are gathering places, they are respites, and yes, they are safe havens. As Andrew Carnegie said, libraries are the great equalizer, where all are welcome and where anyone can transform their life. On behalf of the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library System, I would like to express our gratitude to Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz for recommending the restoration of $415,867 towards the operations of Erie County's 37 public libraries in his 2014 proposed budget. The funds will be used to strengthen our programs and services, as well as reduce some of the use of our fund balance. I am personally thrilled, it takes very little to get me thrilled, I might add, but I find this thrilling, that in Mr. Poloncarz's plan, he has included $340,000 in capital funds for the library, of which $250,000 will be used to restore and purchase a new bookmobile for the residents of Erie County. I thank you very much. Will be state-of-the-art, it will be a wireless hub, and it will certainly carry a collection of materials and also be a traveling classroom. We will service the areas of Erie County without physical libraries and provide additional outreach programs using this vehicle. The remainder of the capital funds will be used for delivery vehicle purchase to move our materials in and around Erie County's 1,043 square miles. I also want to take this opportunity, because far be it for the library not to always bring something with it, to present Mark with this thank you card that has been signed by our patrons and staff members, the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library, for your ongoing support to our library system. Thank you so much. And if you just want to open this up, I just want to show you it's not just a card, but we always get people involved. So I don't know if that's going to stay open there.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
But we got lots of stickers. Thank you, Mark. And thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jean. Thank you to all the users of the library for their support of the libraries. I've often heard people say, well, why are you giving money to libraries in the ages of e-books and the like? There's nothing like opening up a book. There's nothing like having the opportunity to flip the pages, and there certainly is nothing like giving each and every one of us in this community the opportunity to read, whether it's history, art, you name it, literature that you would not otherwise have but for the availability of these free public libraries. Next up, I want to introduce someone who knows a lot about Erie County government, worked for many years as the county clerk, did some time. It's always doing time, I guess, when you're in the state, but was our DMV commissioner for a number of years, and now is the executive director and president of a great organization that the county has a key role in, which is the Botanical Gardens. You may not know it, but the county actually owns the Botanical Gardens. We have once like we do with the parks, an investment in the Botanical Gardens. We hold that in trust for future generations, and we need to make certain that it is in as tip-top shape as it possibly can be. So at this time, I'd like to introduce David Swarts, the president of the Botanical and Erie County Gardens, the Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens, to talk a little bit about what our proposals are in this budget and what we hope to see in the Botanical Gardens in the near future. David?
Thank you very much, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here in the Albright-Knox Art Gallery and amongst so many friends and individuals representing organizations that will benefit greatly from the proposed 2014 budget. You know, the Botanical Gardens is a fixture in this community. It's an architectural and historical treasure. It was completed in 1900, and it was designed by two world-famous greenhouse architects, Lord and Burnham, who were from Buffalo. When this facility was open to the public as part of the Pan American Exposition in 1900, it was the third largest botanical gardens in the United States and the 9th largest in the world, befitting of Buffalo's position in our country in 1900. So it's wonderful to be here today in a small little positive irony at a day when the governor is announcing with the county executive and the mayor and great leaders in our community about the wonderful future for Buffalo and our Western New York. And at the time, the Botanical Gardens was such a place. And it's also wonderful to work with a county executive who gets it, who understands that the quality of life in our community is measured in many different ways. It's measured not only in opportunities economically and jobs for individuals and quality education and quality medical care, but also an opportunity for individuals and residents to experience all sorts of wonderful things, like the Botanical Gardens. You know, without plants in our lives, we would not exist on this planet. So our mission at the Botanical Gardens is to create a greater awareness amongst the public that there is this unique link between humans and plants and other animals with respect to the survivability of life on this planet. So it plays a critically important role. In 1929, the Botanical Gardens faced the wrecking ball. In 1979, it faced the wrecking ball again. But visionary leaders in 1981 from the county of Erie chose not to demolish the facility, but to keep it going. Why? Because they understood the importance, that link that plants and humans play and the educational opportunities. So it's really gratifying to see a county executive who has not only made a strong, concerted commitment to the cultural community in Western New York since he's been county executive and again this year, but it's also very, very important for the county to make the commitment to restore this treasure, this jewel in our community, so that it can survive for generations to come. And the $2 million that has been included in the 2014 proposed budget, when matched with the $1 million that was appropriated in the 2013 budget, combined will produce $3 million, which will be sufficient, we believe, we hope, to restore 2 of the 5 original houses at the Botanical Gardens. And it's important to do that. You know, in 2004, when the County of Erie entered into a public-private partnership with the Botanical Gardens, there were about 15,000 visitors who came to the Botanical Gardens each year. This year we will exceed 100,000. There are 15,000 children and adults who will go through our educational programs this year. And they are basically our residents. And when you take a look at the economic opportunity, tourism, my conversations with the Buffalo Niagara Visitors Bureau, I understand that the Botanical Gardens is among one of the top 25 entities that get hits on their website. So things are happening. And with this infusion of money, we will see that facility restored in a way that all of us in Western New York can be proud of. And certainly it will provide an educational, inspirational opportunity for all of our residents and the thousands of residents and visitors who come from Western New York. So, Mr. County Executive, Mr. Poloncarz, Mark, thank you very much. And hopefully the legislature will see the wisdom of adopting this proposed budget, and hopefully in total. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Last but not least, I'm pleased to introduce to the podium our host for today's event. He has not been here a long time, but it seems like in the few months that Dr. Janne Siren has been here, that we have a sea change in some ways with a lot of the ideas that are going on in this community. I do want to thank the former director, Louis Grouchos. Louis and I had a very good relationship, and I think some of the things that are now being put in place as a result of Dr. Siren being here would not have happened without the strong work of Louis Grouchos. But working together, the Albright-Knox Art Gallery in Erie County has an idea which we think will in some ways change and I don't want to say revolutionize, but change the way we view art in our community. Standing in this hallway behind me is a Jackson Pollock. This Clifford Still exhibits there. If it's normally up as it is, the Warhol and everything else. People come to this art gallery to see wonderful art, incredible art that you truly have only a few museums in the entire world that have as high a modern and contemporary art collection as the Albright-Knox does. But we think we need to take art into the community. And that's why I'm proud earlier this year to announce a partnership that we have with the Albright-Knox Art Gallery, and I asked Dr. Siren to come up and talk about why this matters not only for tourism, but it matters for the quality of life of the people of this community. So, Janne?
County Executive Poloncarz, fellow residents of Western New York. I have now been on ground here in Western New York for about 6 months, and each day I am astonished by what we are able to do here in terms of public-private partnerships, in terms of individuals volunteering to play a role in the community beyond their own personal line of work or duty. Nations, states, municipalities, counties, or cities, they do not exist. They do not exist as static entities. They only exist as a becoming, as a constant flow of events. And because of that flow of events, we need leaders in our political sector to pilot the way to the future, from a past that has been, from a precarious present, to the future that is unknown. I'm presently reading a book called The Monuments Men. It talks about American and British officials who were assigned by the Allied Supreme Command to go into Europe with the invading forces as part of Operation Overlord and oversee the protection of cultural treasures on European mainland as the American and British forces, together with their French partners, were making their way towards Berlin. The reason these individuals were assigned to that task, often at peril to their life, was that it doesn't make sense to save a continent or a series of nations if you do not save the culture, the cultural identity of those nations that you are, in a sense, liberating. It is for this reason that we must think about public art seriously. Art and culture are the things that give us our identity. They make us who we are. It may not always feel that way when one is at a Sabres game or at a Bills game and the adrenaline's running high. But on the long stretch of history, as one looks at the path walked, as one looks at the decades that have gone, it's then that culture starts to matter. It's from that well that we create our cities, our municipalities, our counties, our states, and our nations that don't exist ever, but always exist in a constant state of transformation. Now, the one extraordinary thing about County Executive Poloncarz is that he is not afraid of transformation or change. He gets it. I have served as a ranking civil servant in the Nordic region, which is often lauded for its public sector and its efficiency, and I have very rarely seen leaders such as Mr. Poloncarz, who is able to do with less more than those that I used to work with previously. It's a remarkable thing, and I think the reason for it is he's not afraid of change. He's brave, and yet he has politique. He understands. So what the Albright-Knox wants to do is we want to take our expertise from within these hallowed halls, and we want to place that expertise into the public spaces of Erie County, into cities, into streets, into spaces where people get together and spend time. We also want to provide opportunities for artists from the region and from beyond our region. We want to pilot this project with the funds that Mr. Poloncarz's budget proposes for us by hiring, for the first time in our institution's history, a curator for public art. a captain, a he or a she, who will pilot this project and bring public art to those spaces where it has not been before. We want to think of all of Erie County as a museum, as a public space with an Albright-Knox presence. But it's not about the Albright-Knox. It's about creativity. It is about sharing with people little bits and pieces of the visual world that we inhabit here inside the museum walls. I believe in the creative future of Erie County, and I believe that by placing art and cultural artifacts to places where they are easily accessible to all will provide a better platform for the growth of future generations. I want to thank County Executive Poloncarz, his extraordinary team, especially Maria White, with whom I've had the pleasure to work. I also want to thank my board, who took a leap of faith to make this happen, and I want to thank my extraordinary staff, who always stands at my side, even when crazy ideas are afoot. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Janne. Someone recently asked me, how do you justify a $100,000 investment? And when we could spend it on roads and bridges, how do you even justify it in public art? And I say, well, you're never going to be able to quantify it dollars and cents, but if one individual, one child, one adult learns to appreciate art because of a piece of art that's put in the public as a result of this public arts project, we have succeeded. And that's why I am hopeful that it'll get passed as part of the upcoming budget. I want to thank each and every one of my partners here for their support of the 2014 budget. It is not just dollars and cents on a page, but it's common sense ideals for the future of this community, and I thank them for their support. I certainly hope each and every one of you will contact your legislators and let them know you support this budget. The time is now. If you wait too much longer, they'll be voting on it, and I truly don't know what the end result will be. But it's important that the people speak, because it is your budget. When I was inaugurated on January 1st, 2012, we opened up the doors to the Rath Building and let people come into the 16th floor of the County Executive Chambers, and people wondered why. Because I remind them, I'm just a caretaker as County Executive. The people run this government. The people own this government. The people own the Rath Building. And you need to speak for yourself if you truly believe in the things that we believe in. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate your attendance, and I look forward to a passage of the budget and going forward. Thanks, everyone.